people of Israel arrived in the wilderness of Zin and camped at Kadesh. While they were there, Miriam died and was buried. There was no water for the people to drink at that place, so they rebelled against Moses and Aaron. The people blamed Moses and said, "We wish we had died in the Lord's presence with our brothers. Did you bring the Lord's people into the wilderness to die, along with all our livestock? Why did you make us leave Egypt and bring us here to this terrible place? This land has no grain, no figs, no grapes or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." Moses and Aaron turned away from the people and went to the entrance of the tabernacle, where they fell face down on the ground. Then the generous presence of the Lord appeared to them. And the Lord said to Moses, "You and Aaron must take the staff and assemble the entire community. As the people watch, command the rock over there to pour out its water. You will get enough water from the rock to satisfy all the people and their livestock." So Moses did as he was told. He took the staff from the place where it was kept before the Lord. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. "Listen, you rebels," he shouted. "Must we bring you water from this rock?" Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with the staff, and water gushed out. So all the people and their livestock drank their fill. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them." This place was known as the waters of Meribah, because it was where the people of Israel argued with the Lord and where he demonstrated his holiness among them. While Moses was at Kadesh, he sent ambassadors to the king of Edom with this message. "This message is from your relatives, the people of Israel. You know all the hardships we have been through, and that our ancestors went down to Egypt. We lived there a long time and suffered as slaves to the Egyptians. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard us and sent us an angel who brought us out of Egypt. Now we are camped at Kadesh, a town on the border of your land. Please let us pass through your county. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road and never leave it until we have crossed the opposite border." But the king of Edom said, "Stay out of my land, or I will meet you with all my army." The Israelites answered, "We will stay on the main road. If any of our livestock drinks your water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass through your country and nothing else." But the king of Edom replied, "Stay out. You may not pass through our land." With that, he mobilized his army and marched out to meet them with an imposing force. Because Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through their country, Israel was forced to turn around. The whole community of Israel left Kadesh as a group and arrived at Mount Hor. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor, on the border of the land of Edom, "The time has come for Aaron to join his ancestors in death. He will not enter the land I am giving the people of Israel, because the two of you rebelled against my instructions concerning the waters of Meribah. Now take Aaron and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. There you will remove Aaron's priestly garments and put them on Eleazar his son. Aaron will die there and join his ancestors." So Moses did as the Lord commanded. The three of them went up Mount Hor together as the whole community watched. At the summit, Moses removed the priestly garments from Aaron and put them on Eleazar, Aaron's son. Then Aaron died there on top of the mountain, and Moses and Eleazar went back down. When the people realized that Aaron had died, all Israel mourned for him for 30 days. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that the Israelites were approaching on the road of Atharim. So he attacked the Israelites and took some of them as prisoners. Then the people of Israel made this vow to the Lord: "If you will help us conquer these people, we will completely destroy all their towns." The Lord heard their request and gave them victory over the Canaanites. The Israelites completely destroyed them and their towns, and the place had been called Hormah ever since. Then the people of Israel set out from Mount Hor, taking the road to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. But the people grew impatient along the way, and they began to murmur against God and Moses. "Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die here in the wilderness?" they complained. "There is nothing to eat here and nothing to drink, and we hate this wretched manna." So the Lord sent poisonous snakes among them, and many of them were bitten and died. Then the people came to Moses and called out, "We have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take away the snakes." So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord told him, "Make a replica of a poisonous snake and attach it to the top of a pole. Those who are bitten will live if they simply look at it." So Moses made a snake out of bronze and attached it to the top of a pole. Whenever those who were bitten looked at the bronze snake, they recovered. The Israelites traveled next to Oboth and camped there. Then they went on to Abiram in the wilderness on the eastern border of Moab. From there they traveled to the valley of Zerd Brook and set up camp. Then they moved to the far side of the Arnon River in the wilderness adjacent to the territory of the Amorites. The Arnon is the boundary line between the Moabites and the Amorites. For this reason, the book of the wars of the Lord speaks of the town of Wahib in the area of Suphah and the ravines in the Arnon River, and its ravines which extend as far as the settlement of Ar on the border of Moab. From there the Israelites traveled to Beer, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, "Assemble the people, and I will give them water." There the Israelites sang this song: "Spring up a well, yes, sing about it. Sing of this well." I'm not going to sing. "Spring up a well, yes, sing about it. Sing of this well, which princes dug, which great leader hollowed out with their scepter and staff." Then the Israelites left the wilderness and proceeded on through Manethrah, Nathanael, and Bamoth. Then they went to the valley in Moab where Pisgah Peak overlooks the wasteland. The Israelites now sent ambassadors to King Sihon of the Amorites with this message: "Let us travel through your land. We will stay on the king's road until we have crossed your territory. We will not trample your fields or touch your vineyards or drink your well water." But King Sihon refused to let them cross his land. Instead, he mobilized his entire army and attacked Israel in the wilderness, engaging them in battle at Jahaz. But the Israelites slaughtered them and occupied their land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River. They went only as far as the Ammonite border because the boundary of the Amorites was fortified. So Israel captured all the towns of the Amorites and settled in them, including the city of Heshbon and its surrounding villages. Heshbon had been the capital of King Sihon of the Amorites. He had conquered a former Moabite king and seized all his land as far as the Arnon River. For this reason, the ancient poets wrote this about him: "Come to Heshbon, city of Sihon. May it be restored and rebuilt. A fire flamed forth from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It burned the city of Ar in Moab. It destroyed the rulers of the Arnon heights. Your destruction is certain, O people of Moab. You are finished, O worshippers of Chemosh. Chemosh has left his sons as refugees and his daughters as captives of Sihon, the Amorite king." We have utterly destroyed them, all the way from Heshbon to Dibon. We have completely wiped them out, as far away as Noph and Medeba. So the people of Israel occupied the territory of the Amorites. Even Moses sent men to explore the Jazer area. They captured all the towns in the region and drove out the Amorites who lived there. Then they turned and marched towards Bashan, but King Og of Bashan and all his people attacked them at Edrei. The Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have given you victory over Og and his entire army, giving you all his land. You will do the same thing as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites who ruled in Heshbon." And Israel was victorious and killed King Og, his sons, and his subjects. Not a single survivor remained. Then Israel occupied their land. Then the people of Israel traveled to the plains of Moab and camped east of the Jordan River, across from Jericho. Balak, son of Ziphor, the Moabite king, knew what the Israelites had done to the Amorites. And then they saw how many Israelites there were. He and his people were terrified. The king of Moab said to the leaders of Midian, "This mob will devour everything in sight like an ox devours grass." So Balak, king of Moab, sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor, who was living in his native land of Pethor, near the Euphrates River. He sent this message to request that Balaam come to help him. "A vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth and are threatening me. Please come and curse them for me because they are so numerous. Then perhaps I will be able to conquer them and drive them from the land. I know the blessings fall on the people you bless. I also know that the people you curse are doomed." Balak's messengers, officials of both Moab and Midian, set out and took money with them to pay Balaam to curse Israel. They went to Balaam and urgently explained to him what Balak wanted. "Stay here overnight," Balaam said. "In the morning I will tell you whatever the Lord directs me to say." So the officials from Moab stayed there with Balaam. That night God came to Balaam and asked him, "Who are these men with you?" So Balaam said to God, "Balak, son of Ziphor, king of Moab, has sent me this message. A vast horde of people has come from Egypt and has spread out over the entire land. Come at once to curse them. Perhaps then I will be able to conquer them and drive them from the land." "Do not go with them," God told Balaam. "You are not to curse these people, for I have blessed them." The next morning, Balaam got up and told Balak's officials, "Go on home. The Lord will not let me go with you." So the Moabites officials returned to King Balak and reported, "Balaam refused to come with us." Then Balak tried again. This time he sent a larger number of even more distinguished officials than those he had sent the first time. They went to Balaam and gave him this message. "This is what Balak, son of Ziphor, says. Please don't let anything stop you from coming. I will pray you well and do anything you ask of me. Just come and curse these people for me." But Balaam answered them, "Even if Balak were to give me a palace filled with silver and gold, I would be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord my God. But stay here one more night to see if the Lord has anything else to say to me." That night God came to Balaam and told him, "Since these men have come for you, get up and go with them. But be sure to do only what I tell you to do." So the next morning, Balaam saddled the donkey and started off with the Moabite officials. But God was furious that Balaam was going. So he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way. As Balaam and 2 servants were riding along, Balaam's donkey suddenly saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword to his hand. The donkey bolted off the road into a field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back into the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood at a place where the road narrowed between the two vineyard walls. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing there, it tried to squeeze by and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved farther down the road and stood in a place so narrow that the donkey could not get by at all. This time, when the donkey saw the angel, it lay down under Balaam. In a fit of rage, Balaam beat it again with his staff. Then the Lord caused the donkey to speak. "What have I done to you that deserves you beating me these 3 times?" it asked Balaam. "Because you have made me look like a fool," Balaam shouted. "If I had a sword with me, I'd kill you." "But I am the same donkey you always ride on," the donkey answered. "Have I ever done anything like this before?" "No," he admitted. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the roadway with the drawn sword in his hand. Balaam fell face down on the ground before him. "Why did you beat your donkey those 3 times?" the angel of the Lord demanded. "I have come to block your way because you are stubbornly resisting me." 3 times the donkey saw me and shilled away. Otherwise, I would have certainly killed you by now and spared the donkey. Then Balaam confessed to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned. I did not realize you were standing in the road to block my way. I will go back home if you are against my going." But the angel of the Lord told him, "Go with these men, but you may say only what I tell you to say." So Balaam went on with Balak's officials. When King Balak heard that Balaam was on his way, he went out to meet him at the Moabite town on the Arnon River at the border of his land. "Did I not send you an urgent invitation? Why didn't you come right back?" Balak asked Balaam. "Didn't you believe me when I said I would reward you richly?" Balaam replied, "I have come, but I have no power to say just anything. I will speak only the messages that God gives me." Then Balaam accompanied Balak to Kirith-Huzoth, where the king sacrificed cattle and sheep. He sent portions of the meat to Balaam and the officials who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam up to Baal. From there, he could see the people of Israel spread out below him. That's the end of Numbers 22. I hope you are blessed. In Jesus' name, amen.